studio. And I'm so glad you're here with me today sharing this practice. Today we're going to do a yoga practice to help boost our immune system. Specifically, we're helping the lymphatic system. The lymph is in channels in our body. The interesting thing about that is it's not like blood where it pumps out through muscular effort. Instead, the lymphatic system works by either gravity, so for instance our legs flipping upside down, letting the lymph drain right out of the legs, or it works through muscle contraction and muscle stretching. And so in our practice today we're going to hit various areas where there's a bunch of lymph nodes in our body, areas like the hips, the armpits, the neck, all of these areas, helping to specifically stretch them out so that the lymph gets a chance to flow through our body. And in that process, we're helping to cleanse our body, helping to make sure that we're boosting this beautiful immune system we have, staying as healthy as we can for as long as we can. So with this practice, we're going to want a strap if you have one. It's possible to do it without, that's fine as well. If you use something just around the house like a belt or a scarf, any of that's great as well. Also, if you have a bolster, there's a place for it at the end. You can also just do legs up the wall if that's what you've got today. And so with this, to get us started, begin laying all the way down in a Shavasana pose. As you're there, I'm going to take a moment to guide you through what's going to become our meditation through the practice today. So laying all the way down, give yourself a couple of relaxing breaths in and out, getting this chance to be with your body, checking in with it. If you immediately find any areas of tension, send a breath there, helping to relax, already feeling a little bit better. And so from this space, now we begin this image that we're going to carry forward in our practice. This image is the idea of sending blue light all around our body, encompassing the outer parts of our body, everywhere with blue light. Interestingly, there are in hospitals sometimes the places where you go to wash your hands, a blue light will pop on, and that blue light can be really helpful for killing bacteria and viruses just right there. And so imagine this blue light that you're encompassing yourself with is a blue light of protection, helping to keep you safe, keeping bugs and germs out, killing them before they could ever come to you, even keeping you with a little bit of protection from some of the stress and the anxiety and the panic that may be going on in the world. So a few more breaths. Just imagine that blue light all over your body getting brighter and brighter and brighter. Another huge breath in and out. And then from here, as we're laying on our back, the first pose we'll take is a happy baby pose. Starting to bring the knees in, the knees go nice and wide. And we start to reach our hands for the outside edges of feet. If that's hard to reach, go for ankles or shins instead. Feet traveling up to the sky gives us a chance to start letting gravity work. Also that nice little compression on some of the lymphatic vessels right at the hip area. And so as we're here, we're trying to pull downward on the feet, helping the hips to open, and just enjoying a moment to be with gravity. Imagining that because the lymph is getting a chance to move through the legs, that blue light of protection is growing even brighter through this area. One more good breath in and out. And then release the right leg. You can either plant the foot or let it go all the way long to the ground. We'll begin straightening the left leg upward. If you have that strap, you're welcome to use that around the foot to help the leg begin to get a good stretch. So the first thing we do is work on straightening the leg. We don't want to lock the knee, but the straighter we get the leg, the more the muscles and the lymph helps to stretch and move and help things flow. Start to bunch both ends of the strap up together. Left hand grips up super high, right hand slides a bit further down. And then we begin opening this leg wide out to the left. This gives the inner thigh, some different areas of the leg, a chance to stretch out as well. When the leg comes back up, we switch the grip. At first, we just let the leg cross over to the right until the hip is just starting to lift off the ground. So this helps the outer part of the leg get a chance to stretch. Good. Then releasing the strap, bend the knee, send that knee to a twist. We keep the left shoulder on the ground very firmly, so it pulls the whole body, all the way from those lymphatic areas of the armpit, all the way down the hip and the leg. All of it gets a chance to just be pulled long. Keep the breath flowing, that blue light glowing ever brighter. And then returning the hip back down. We'll switch sides, left leg long, right leg up to the sky. If you used the strap before, use it again. Start on straightening the leg outward first. And that way, the back side of the leg is getting a deep elongation, and the other side is getting a contraction. So both methods are powerful for getting that lymph to flow and to move. We'll go about 3 more deep breaths. Keep that blue light shining around our body. Okay, right hand gets closer, left hand further down, and then the leg starts to open out wide. Again, we don't want opposite hip to lift, so the left hip is not lifting, only traveling as wide as we can without letting that happen. Leg comes back up, left hand takes the strap, right hand slides down, and the leg begins to fall over toward left, only to the point where the hip is only starting to lift off the ground. And releasing the strap, bend the knee, send the knee into the full twist. Once you return back up from that, rock all the way up. Take a moment, opening through Cobblers Pose. This helps the inner thigh stretch, so getting back into some of those lymph areas there. The bottoms of the feet touch together, posture lifts tall. And then if there's still space to lean forward, let yourself begin to tilt. Keep on breathing. The blue light continuing to circulate over the body. We We are laying on the back for the first part of class, so perhaps imagine the back now getting to be encompassed in that light as well. Gently start to rise. Let your feet come to a simple cross-legged position, and we'll start working deeper into some of those lymphatic areas in the armpits. This is another place to use the strap if you have it. If not, you're still able to do a good stretch. What you're going to do is grip super wide. It's almost 2 shoulder distances wide, so pretty wide here. From there, you set the right hand down while it's still gripping onto the strap. The left hand, you begin to stretch it up. The strap is taut, and what you should be feeling, what you're going for, is that left armpit stretching. So I want you to play around for a moment, maybe leaning back a little bit, and forward. If the strap, you're gripping too close, scoot it wider. If you really don't feel anything, perhaps try something narrower. Go 2 more good breaths. Good. Release, rise up, second side. So left hand goes down first, and then begin to work through that armpit. Make sure you're feeling the stretch through that armpit area. That's how we really include those lymphatic areas. One more good breath in and out. Good, gentle release. We can set the strap down. Here we aim for some of those lymph nodes on the neck. Sometimes we don't really notice those lymph nodes until they swell up for us. So helping to make sure we stretch all that, helping that move as well. So we're going to let ourselves drop the right ear over the right shoulder. I want you to play around in ways that feel good, specifically for those lymph nodes around the bottom of the jaw. So it might be helpful to extend left fingers to the left. If you want to keep the right hand up on that top ear for a little while, you can stay or drop it down. These options are very helpful, very good. Even rock the head a little bit further forward or a little bit further back, whatever feels the best. And then as you start to release, you're rolling the chin down through the chest. This can be really helpful to release some of that tension we tend to feel in our shoulders. So let the head be heavy forward for a moment. Eventually let the head rock over left shoulder. That could be a good placement right there. You might want to play with rocking forward and backward. Maybe the right arm reaches out to the right, left hand can rest if that's helpful. Again, rock the head all the way down, chin to chest, relieving some of that tension. Beautiful. Head starts to rise back up. We're going to head onto our hands and our knees. Taking 3 sets of cat-cow just to check in with how our spine is doing. And so we round up like a cat, and then belly goes down, rising up. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. One more. Good. When the spine comes back to neutral, your left foot is going to step toward that top left edge of the mat. You keep that knee rotated open. The hips try to sink forward, and then the hands go away from that knee, so hands off to the right. Now the big thing we're aiming for here is an incline from the hips down to the hands, and also that left armpit stretching. So it might be helpful to drop the right elbow down, and then let that left arm really stretch long. Getting into some of those lymph nodes in that area again. Begin to walk back toward the mat. And before we come out of this all together, we're going to take a slight back bend. And this will be a chance to invite the next layer of light on top of the blue layer. So on the outside of the blue layer, start to invite, in this back bend, a silver or a white light to encompass around it. So the blue is that layer of protection, white is the layer of love. And so we begin to aim the right hand for that right heel behind us. The hips continue to push forward. And then this free hand, that left arm reaches up and back. And begin to imagine like you're showering your heart with love. And that love hits you with light, surrounding your whole body with an extra layer of love. Take one more good breath in. And out. Good. Rising up. Step this left knee down. Second side. We'll start with the back bend part, just adding even more light to our body. So with that right foot having stepped forward, tuck the back toes. Left hand reaches for that left heel. And then we begin to reach this free right arm up and back. Hips continue to relax forward. More and more white light coming down, showering on us. One more good breath in. And out. Rise up. Good. I'm going to face forward so you have a different angle of what we're doing here, but with the right foot up at that right edge, continue to keep the knee rotating open. Hips sink forward. Walking hands over to the left side, maybe left elbow down, so that that right arm can reach long, getting into the armpit. Starting to unwind. Take a moment with a downward facing dog. Plant your hands, tuck your toes, lift the hips up all the way to the sky, and add in movements that feel good. Maybe pedaling the legs. Maybe finding straightness and lots of lift of the hips upward. Good. Eventually walk your way into a forward fold. Let the feet be a little bit wider than hips today. Hands have a choice. They can plant downward. They can come to elbow creases and dangle down. You could hug around your legs. What you're doing is finding the most comfortable way to let gravity take over. So in this pose, we're using both gravity and also deep, deep stretching to help that lymphatic system continue to flow through legs and even torso with this new relationship to gravity. So take several breaths, maybe even 5 or 6 deep, slow breaths. Continue to build that layer of white light around the body. Take one more good breath in and out. Good. Drop the hands down, drop the legs down. We'll take our last pose of the day, and this one's the one where you can either use the bolster or put your legs up a wall. If you're doing the wall, try to scoot your glutes as close to the wall as you can without actually making the hips lift. And so that way you get a nice stretch that way. If you're using the bolster, this is a nice way to have a restorative version of a shoulder stand. So you'll start off in a supported bridge pose. The hips are up, elevated. You start to drop the elbows down and then lower your back all the way onto the floor. Once you're there, legs begin to float. What this does is use a very gentle pose to let gravity work one last time on the legs, helping that lymphatic system be here. So while we're letting that happen, we're adding one more layer on top of that silvery layer of our body. And this last layer is a layer of gold. And so gold to me represents wisdom, but it's not the kind of wisdom you can gain from even just one lifetime. This is almost like an omniscient type of wisdom. If you could know everything about everyone and everything, that kind of wisdom that you would have at that moment. So it's an all-knowing type of wisdom. It's almost like if we touch into that, we would have the bigger picture. We would be wise beyond measure. And so with that gold layer adding on top of the beautiful layers of love and protection, take a few moments here just to breathe. As you're continuing to let this gold encompass us, some people might want to head more toward a plow pose. So that would be legs coming a little bit closer toward the body, or even lifting all the way up, toes aiming toward the ground. You choose how deep your body is happy to go to add the last little bit of stretch if you wish. It's not required. Five more breaths wherever you've ended up. As your fifth breath finishes, we'll begin heading toward our Shavasana pose today. If you're with legs on the wall and you want to stay there, that's fine. If you're using this bolster version, we'll begin to drop the knees in, plant the feet. If you've got that bolster, you can scoot the bolster under the knees, making the body nice and comfortable. Arms and legs opening. And give yourself some time here just to breathe and relax. This last part of our meditation today, after we've built those three beautiful layers, the blue layer of protection, that silver white layer of love, and the gold layer of pure wisdom, this is helping us stay calm, centered, and protected. And so these are qualities the world needs right now. So imagine in your Shavasana that it's almost like you're willing to share this light because you've accumulated so much of it. So almost like a puddle, you're beginning to let some of that extra light go. And imagine that this is helping to protect the building that you're in, your house. Maybe it's spreading off to friends and family. Maybe your whole neighborhood, even going maybe to the state, the country, the world. However far the light wants to spread itself, give it permission to go, knowing that not everybody will accept it. That's okay. Some people want to be in panic and stress. That's okay. But for those that will accept it, let them receive protection, receive love, receive wisdom. And with that image to guide us forward, let's have some moments of silence while we're just resting in our Shavasana. Begin to deepen your inhales and your exhales. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out long like you're waking up first thing in the morning. Eventually rolling over to a comfortable fetal position off to one side. Give yourself another 4 or 5 breaths to continue getting back into the body before we prepare to head on to the rest of our day. When we rise all the way up, we join our hands together in front of the heart. We'll finish with the sound of Om. And as we do this, imagine one last sonic boom sending your light out into the world, because the world needs that right now. And so let's inhale together now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.